Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to speak about listening and the power of listening and how that can influence in a positive way our work as professionals. You ready? So today I would just like to let you know about listening. It's not something that we don't know, actually. It's not something that we never heard of, but it's something that sometimes we forget or sometimes we are not able to put into practice in the most effective way possible. And as we know, if we listen to someone, or better said, if we are heard, if we feel that we are being heard, we feel that we are being considered, we feel that we are being cared for, we feel like we are the center of the attention and that the attention is coming our way. And so we feel that we can trust the other person. We feel that we can deeper communicate to the other person. And so listening is not only a great tool in order to use with other people on our work or even in our day-to-day relationships, but the characteristic of listening happens to be an amazing tool that we can use with ourselves. The power of listening to ourselves in a deep way, so that we can actually communicate to ourselves in a deep way. That is called deep listening. And briefly, I just wanted to let you know the different types of listening, so that you can actually be aware when you are listening to someone which kind of degree or depth of listening you are engaging yourself in. In the coaching course that I've learned and the ways that I've communicated to other people in order to understand the different types of listening, I understood that there are 4 levels of listening. The level 1, sort of speaking, is what we call cosmetic listening. And cosmetic listening is when we are just listening, but not really listening. We are just pretending, or we look like we are listening, but deep inside we are not listening because we are constantly thinking about other things and we are somewhere else. We are someplace else. And this means that we are actually not present to the communication that the other person is doing with us. So imagine you've been in this situation for sure several times, in the situation where you are actually wanting to actually receive a communication from the other person, and basically the person either says or replies something totally different, and you know that the person was actually not listening. So this is what we call cosmetic listening. The level 2 of communication is conversational listening. Is when we are engaging in a conversation, listening, and then we talk, and then we think, and then we listen, and then we talk, think, listen, and talk. And so we are a bit more engaged, but we are still thinking and we still kind of trying to understand what the other person is saying rather than just listening, just observing and absorbing everything that the person is saying rather than trying to think about it. You're just listening. And listening is, like we will see in the next levels, is a bit more like receiving. It's a bit more like being at service. You're not actually wanting to do anything specific. You are just trying to listen. The level 3 is an active listening, which means that you are focused on what you are saying in recording facts and really paying attention. But is this the only thing that you can actually do? Is this the deepest that you can do? Very focused on what you're saying, recording the facts and paying attention? No, this is not the only thing that you can do. There is a deeper listening, and it's actually called, in level 4, deep listening. When you're focused on what you say and you focus on what the other person is saying. I'm more focused on you than I'm focused on me. I'm getting a sense of who you are now, in this present moment. See the big difference? If you are here, you're not in the present moment. If you are thinking, if you are in the mind, if you are busy trying to control the situation with your own thoughts, you are not in the now, you're not in the present moment. And what I wanted to basically let you know is the characteristics of this deep listening. And when we are in this deep listening, then things can become really, really different, not only in our minds, but our physical body. And for instance, when you are deep listening, the mind of the listener is mostly quiet and calm. Have you ever thought of this? Like I said, if you are in the mind, you cannot be really in the now. You cannot be present to someone else speaking. You cannot be present to your environment. You cannot be present to the communication which is non-verbal. Have you ever thought of the non-verbal communication? We are listening to what? We are listening to our thoughts, nothing else. we are not able to listen to the other person's words nor non-verbal communication. So in this sense of deep listening, we are basically like in a meditation, calm, relaxed, and totally open to what the person is saying. The awareness of the listener is deeply focused on the other person, because the thoughts are not running in our minds in such a rush. We are not deeply concerned about what we think, but we are actually giving our total attention and focus to what the other person is saying. Again, verbally and non-verbally. The listener has little or no sense of awareness of themselves. So it's like you are sometimes not even in your body, not even in your mind. We are just listening. You just became the ears. You just became something else that is not part of anything else that is not listening, which is the mind, thoughts, and the activity that is inside of ourselves, which doesn't allow us to be totally focused on the listening. The listener is totally lucid and present to the person speaking. And so developing deep listening is actually a practice that can be trained. You can train yourself to ultimately have the goal of serving others. So it is very important, we as coaches, having this developed to the maximum. And actually, in my coaching practice, through the guidelines of the ICF, which is the most prestigious association of coaches, which I am a member of, they say that you as coach should listen 80% of the time, should speak only 20% of the time. So this applies directly to everything that I said here. It applies to deep listening, because if you are not listening most of the time, then you cannot be a good listener. Then you cannot catch the essence of what the other person is communicating. And if you are a coach, you really need to put this into practice, because people are making a time investment, are making a financial investment in working with you. And in order for you to be at the highest level of service, you need to first of all be a good listener. So I hope these tips helped you. So I just wanted to leave you with an amazing quote which says, what's important is not just what we are listening to, it's what we are listening for. So I'll leave you with this, and see you next time. Like the video if you like the video, and subscribe to my channel, because that would make me a very happy person. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye bye.